for Feldco, Chicago's home renewal experts. Your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers, the official truck partner of the Chicago Bears. Hooters. At Hooters, originality isn't just one thing, it's everything. World-famous wings and more, served up by the iconic Hooters girl. Hooters, always original. Dr. Pepper, an American original just like our Chicago Bears. Grab an ice-cold, refreshing Dr. Pepper today at a McDonald's near you. Special Olympics Illinois. Special Olympics Illinois, so I did. Learn more at SOILL.org. Take that. Hey, welcome into Feldco Football Recap Live with Olin Kreutz and Tommy Waddle. I'm David Kaplan. Bears blown out by the Arizona Cardinals, 29-9. Let's get right into our Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric game recap. Tommy, your chance to start this week. Bears were absolutely flat and absolutely awful in every phase of the game.
Yeah, guys, I gotta say, like this loss stayed with me more than the loss to the Commanders, because I think you learn a lot about yourself and a lot about your team and how you respond to adversity. And I think what you want to do after a loss like you had in Washington was come out and get that taste out of your mouth. And what they did was they got dominated by a team that, once again, is bottom 5 in most statistical categories defensively. And offensively, they just loaded up the running game and ran it down the throats of that Bears defense. So I think from top to bottom, this was a loss. I don't know how you feel, Olin, but I thought this one stung me more than the one the week before.
Yeah, stung and worried you, right, when you watched it, because I thought even, when the game was bad, right? The end of the game was bad against Washington. The Hail Mary, terrible mistakes made out there by coaching staff and players alike, and the Tyrique Stevenson video, and you felt bad about that. And then all the noise that was going on around the team with players seemingly questioning the coach and asking questions about what they should have done and what we shouldn't have done. The handoff to Doug Kramer, we heard a lot about. You heard a lot of things come out of the locker room that you were worried about surrounding the team. But when I turned the film on, Tom and Cap, I didn't feel that bad when I turned it on, and then I turned it off, and I was like, that defense played really tough. Bulled their neck in the red zone, kept the number 1 red zone offense in the league out of the red zone. Anyway, I watched the offense. I loved what Caleb did at the end of the game. I thought he was on fire. I thought he made plays. I really went to look for – I was about to do the post-game show on the score, and I went to look for Ryan Pose's quote, how lean on your teammates and then do the special, right? Because that's what I thought I was going to talk about in the post-game. So like you're saying, Tom, to come out there and get handled by the Cardinals, and really like it's 7-6 with 3 minutes left in the first half of that game. And then all of a sudden, man, things just go downhill again at the end of a half. And now you come away after you can't stop the run, after the offense can't get anything going in that game. You come away worried, especially with the offensive line problems, worried about this football team.
I got to say, too, guys, I think when you're coming off a loss like you had in Washington, I think especially for a young team that's being led by a rookie quarterback, I think it's incumbent on your coaching staff to make sure that, like, you put last week behind you. I don't know how you felt about how Lovey handled these types of situations, and maybe you never found yourself in those situations, Olin, but I always felt like Coach Ditka, for us, when we were coming off a tough loss, that's where he, as a head coach, was most useful. Like, you find a way to provide the guidance that is necessary. That shit's got to be pushed to the side on Tuesday. Like, we can't be finding out on Wednesday that Tyrique Stevenson is walking away from practice for a few plays because he's found out that he finds it like that, all that. I just felt like all that stuff needed to be put away, and you need to move forward. And it's incumbent on the coaching staff to make sure that you have digested all of that and moved forward.
And a young quarterback said it. I'm sorry, Cap, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you, Olin. So when you hear all that's coming out, and I've talked to both of you about this at length away from the camera, when you hear all this, Cole Kmet says guys didn't take it seriously. DJ Moore's asked on the score, has Coach Eberflus lost the locker room? And he goes, I I wouldn't say that. Like, if someone asked me, has Coach Kreutz lost the locker room, I'd be like, oh, that's a stupid question. Of course he is not. What's going on culture-wise up there?
No idea. And he said, I want to say no, right? I want to say no. And then, talking about what they should have done with the Hail Mary, I understand that it's a new generation and everyone expresses themselves. I'm just interested in how that works. I'm interested in how that works with your team culture, because it sure comes off to an old ball player that you questioning your coach. Yeah. It sure comes off that way. And look, like we were holding each other accountable. Well, I don't hear anybody talking about the players who miss plays. I don't hear anybody talking about that kind of stuff. I just hear them talking about the coaching decisions on the football field, right? Talk about DJ Moore when he talked about Doug Kramer's handoff. They didn't like that play. Well, he was in the blue tent, right? Like you were injured in the blue tent. It's like it has to go both ways, right? Like if we're going to hold each other accountable, and if you want to hold a head coach accountable, it's simple. You got to make $5 billion and buy a football team. It really is that simple. It really is, right? Like it's so hard to do. Tom knows this. Yeah. It's so hard to do a job in the NFL. Everyone has to do their job. You can't worry about doing somebody else's job. And it can interest me the most. And it doesn't mean they don't know how. But if we're all being honest, here's honesty. DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, and Jalen Johnson, you know how many winning seasons they have? 0. They have 0 winning seasons combined. Yeah. Right. So all I'm saying is it took me a long time to learn how to win in the NFL. It really did. It's hard to do. And what they're saying is like what Cole Kmet's saying is correct. It is. The details, doing things in practice, doing them correctly. It's correct. It's just say it to your team. It makes us all wonder about the culture. And I was hoping it would prove us wrong. I was hoping they'd come out there and beat up the Cardinals and put this all to bed. But now after that performance, there's just more questions.
Yeah. Tommy?
I mean,
when you played for Ditka and when Olin had his really, really good teams with him and Reuben Brown and Lack and Mike Brown, all these guys, did you notice the culture change because of the record, or culture is culture, Cap?
I always believed in the concept that you're self-motivated. If you need somebody else to motivate you, then maybe you're in the wrong business, because you're out there getting your ass kicked, or you're kicking someone. I was getting my ass kicked. I wasn't kicking anyone's ass, but like the physical nature of the game. Let me tell you something. And when Cole talked last week, and I have a lot of respect for Cole, what he said stayed with me. Pretty for a lot of reasons. Like, it's one thing for the coaching staff to hold the players accountable, but what Cole said, when it's in the dark, and the coaches aren't around, and are you getting your 6 reps in instead of 5 reps? You're doing 5 reps, you're doing 6. Are you on the jugs machine? I can guarantee you this: Steve McMichael never missed a rep in the weight room, regardless if there was a coach in there watching him or not. And I think that's what made that team, and I assume that's what made Olin's team so good, is that you didn't need to be motivated by anybody. You loved the sport, and you were self-motivated. You were self-policed. I don't know what's going on. I know the game has changed a lot. I'm not in the locker room, so I don't want to pretend that I know what is happening right now. But when Cole said that, like, guys may be cutting corners in the dark, like that's not a good statement to hear. And even if you think it's something as a throwaway, as someone who has been in a locker room, I don't know how you feel, Olin. That really, my antenna went up when I heard that.
Mm-hmm. I thought Cole. I imagine Cole being the boogeyman. How does he see what they're doing in the dark? What is he doing? Is he peeking in the? Is he in the dark? No, a couple of things as an old ball player hit me when he said that. I see him on CHGO doing a lot of podcasts, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's kind of like, okay, what could you be doing while you're doing that podcast, right? It's just, you have to earn the right to question your teammates, and it's fine. I understand what he's doing, and he's correct. What are you doing in the dark? We got to work hard. I remember one year Mike Brown said, "We're terrible. We suck." I think that was 2001. We made a run after that. He said, "We just stink." He said it to the media, and it worked on the locker room. Sometimes you challenge guys publicly, it works. So that's why that Washington game was so interesting to me. I wanted to see it work. I didn't feel good about all the things that were being said, just for all the years that I played in the NFL. And really, like, you're making your head coaches hot seat even hotter, right? So I understand we're going to hold each other accountable. We're going to say the truth when we're on the radio, on TV. I just something about it worried me. And watching the Cardinals game, watching this film today and days before, now I'm even more worried with the performance, with the effort, with the penalties, with them not making plays, with the way, I talked to a guy in the Cardinals locker room, and he said they thought the Bears gave up on the game. Thought they gave up on the game. So that's just the kind of things. Now, listen, that doesn't mean it's true. It's just kind of, I didn't see that on film, but I did see guys getting blocked. I did see not intensity that you want to see during a football game. And that's why I'm worried. I was worried because, like I told you guys, I left the Washington Commanders game, and like you guys know, I don't let what people say affect me. The film tells me everything. Like, people lie. The film don't. Right? Like, even when I knew people in Dallas saw, I wouldn't ask them about what they were doing on the film because they'll lie to you. Right? I want to know what the film's got to say to me. And I left that Washington game feeling pretty damn good about this football team. And then they went to Arizona, and I think the noise, it must have got to them. The outside noise must have got to them because that was a different football team playing the Arizona Cardinals.
I think, too, like that 54-yard run or whatever it was at the end of the first half, that to me kind of summarized that entire game and maybe in some ways the first 8 games of the season. And I thought when they came out in the second half, they had been demoralized. And, I know Coach Eberflus at the half said, that's on me. I called up, a defense to rush the passer. Well, no shit, because they needed 15 yards to get in field goal range. Any defensive coordinator would have called the defense expecting a pass, but you expect your talented defense to find somebody to tackle the guy.
Right.
So,
right.
Look, I will never suggest to you without knowing everybody in that room and being in that room that guys would ever not be giving best effort or quit or any of that nonsense. But they looked, I'll just say this, they looked different in the second half of that game than they did even in the first 15 minutes of that game.
All right, let me give you the Dr. Pepper play of the game. You guys just referenced it. It is the Amari DiMercato 53-yard touchdown run. He hit the end zone with 4 seconds left in the first half. Dr. Pepper, by the way, it is an awesome, awesome beverage. It's one of my favorite things to drink. I've got the Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar right here in front of me, the coconut, which is a limited time offering. That's an American original, just like our Bears. Grab an ice cold Dr. Pepper at McDonald's today. And that leads us to our drive of the game. Chevy drive of the game, 4 plays, 70 yards, 22 seconds. It's the one that ended with that play right before half, leading to that 53-yard TD run. So, Olin, I'm watching that play unfold. And then as they come back for the second half, Evan Washburn is interviewing Coach Eberflus. And he asked him, what did you say at halftime to your team? And he said, we've got the score and we have each other. And you can even see the expression on the announcer, like, what? I went, okay, we're effed. We're effed.
Yeah. And to Tom's point, it described their season like Keenan Allen drops the ball on 3rd and 8, right? That's the first down. He catches that ball. They never get a drive, right? They don't get that drive if he catches that ball, right? Because they get another set of downs, and either we get a field goal or the half is over or a touchdown. So when you come out, Cap, and that's not what I wanted to see from a head coach, because it's like he's talking like he doesn't have the answers. The head coach always has to have the answers, man. Head coach always has to know what to say. He's always got to know what direction, even when you don't, right? Like, you got to be telling the boat, we got to sail in this direction. And you might be going right off the cliff, but you got to be confident about where you're going, right? So when you start to hear answers like that, and that's what I'm saying, I more than anybody was shocked at what the Cardinals did to the Bears. I was shocked at things like what Coach Eberflus said. I was shocked that the offense didn't move the ball at all. The defensive run, obviously when they announced Montez was out, I don't know how you guys felt, but I was in the pregame show and I felt deflated myself. So I'm sure that hurt his teammates, right? Wanted a little more, right, out of the defensive line against an offensive line that has 2 starters out. Wanted a little more out of Dexter and Billings, and hopefully he's okay because they would miss him. But anyway, you just this football team right now, I mean, the Patriots might be exactly what they need at the lakefront on Sunday.
I say this all the time, Olin. Like, look, if you're tired of hearing all of us old guys, criticize you, change the narrative. You change the narrative by changing the narrative. You get 3 games at home now. You get the Patriots, you get the Green Bay Packers, you get the Minnesota Vikings. If you want to make everyone, and it doesn't matter how we feel on the outside, but if you want to change how everyone's feeling on the inside of that building, go out there and win these next 3 games at home and prove to yourself that not only are you pointing in the right direction, but you can compete in your division. When was the last time they beat the Green Bay Packers? You got a chance at home after this Patriots game, and I'm not suggesting you look past the Patriots because I wouldn't take anyone in this league for granted. But you got a chance to redefine yourself over the next 3 weeks. So go out and do it. Look, I would think, and I'll be interested to ask Kevin when he joins us in a few minutes, like as just somebody sitting on my couch and watching the game, I'd have felt better about this thing defensively if they'd have thrown for 350. Like when some team steps up and runs it on you for 213 yards at over 6 yards per clip, like that. Like I've never played a lick of defense in my life. I would think that would sting more than being lit up through the air. So I'd be very interested to see how they respond to this.
Oh, and with the offensive line so banged up, and I know you've played on, some great offensive lines and some that may not have had, everybody stay healthy throughout the year.
Some really bad ones.
Some bad ones.
There's some really, really bad ones too, Cap. You can say it.
Okay, some bad ones. How would you – they didn't make a trade today. How would you handle the O-line going forward? We heard, Darnell Wright's dealing with an MCL and Pryor has a pec and this guy has that. How would you handle the O-line going forward?
Yeah, I don't know. They're plugging and playing right now, right? They don't have a lot of – we talked about on this podcast many a times of how little assets they put that offensive line and would it catch up to them, and it did, right? It caught up to them. Again, we can go through it, but they're on their 3rd option at right guard. They're on the 2nd option at center. They're on their 4th or 5th option at left tackle right now. So, of course, you end up in some games. Now, they didn't get overwhelmed in this game. They did a lot of empty protection. The quarterback wasn't getting the ball out a lot. They didn't block great either, but their performance was about what you would think you were going to get out of guys, the guys they have out there, right? Nate Davis, he's supposed to be the right guard. Hopefully Darnell Wright's okay, man. Because I don't know, Cap, I don't know what you do with this offense line. I don't know where you line guys up right now. I mean, I had to look up. I called him Curran by the wrong name for about the first. I had to look him up on Google and just check him out and see what he's doing. And you go through the drafts and start thinking about. I was like, man, this Terrell Smith is a good football player. I thought he played good to start the game. I thought he did a good job. And then I saw his 5th round pick, and I thought, man, we could use an offensive lineman there also, right? You could use guys to help out your offensive line, and now they're in this position again. We talked about could that young quarterback develop with the guys they have in front of them. You cannot feel comfortable if you're Caleb Williams dropping back, and it's not a knock on the guys they have. It's just you can't feel comfortable with everybody's making league minimum in front of you.
I would say this too, Cap. Look, this is a point too, and it's a hard ask for a rookie quarterback. But if you go back and look at the film of the game against the Cardinals, I didn't think Caleb was at his best, and he wasn't getting a lot of help. But I thought he held on to the ball a little bit too long. I think his accuracy was in question. But especially with the offensive line in flux right now, he's got to get rid of the ball quick. Take what they're giving you, take your layups, try to build a little momentum, a little bit of rhythm. And again, it's a hard ask for a young quarterback, but I think Olin said it best and said it first. The number one responsibility for a quarterback is to protect himself, right? I think I've heard you say that before, Olin. And, going forward now with an offensive line that has some issues, you protect yourself in a lot of ways by making sure that ball's coming out quick. And even if you got to take the check downs, you want to hold it to push it down the field. Sometimes you just have to forego that and take what a defense is giving you.
Yeah, something I was watching, Cap and Tom, that I was interested in was sometimes you watch the film, sometimes these coaches nowadays, not nowadays, but from what you've heard from the locker room and, talking to them about the first 15 and Shane Waldron having all these meetings, you can get caught up trying to please the quarterback. By that, I mean, all of a sudden you're empty in your temple all the time, right? You like Shane Waldron, you're the OC, man. If you're going to go down in flames, go down with your stuff. Yeah. Go down calling your plays because you got to call plays for Matt Pryor at right guard. You got to call plays for the center, Shelton, right? Everything can't be high tempo. That's not Shane Waldron's offense. We're not watching that Shane Waldron offense right now. They ran for 2 plays. They ran to open the game was empty. They hit DJ Moore, and then they ran a counter pulling guard tackle read by the quarterback. That's straight out of USC's playbook, right? At some point, you got to run your stuff, and it's not working, right? Like you're not getting anything out of this. You're like the young quarterback on the road going against Rallis, the defensive coordinator, going against Gannon. They're showing him cover 2. Buda Baker's running all over the damn place, and you got your young quarterback making calls, trying to point out protections. I thought he got overwhelmed. I thought he mentally got overwhelmed in that game and didn't know where to go to the ball. And I think sometimes you get caught up trying to change your whole scheme to please the young guy instead of developing him.
I feel right now like I felt after the Colts game. It's time to narrow things a little bit and simplify some stuff and ask them to do less things and ask them to do those things better, as opposed to throw everything out there and expect a young man standing behind a makeshift offensive line to make the best of a bad situation. I'd dial it back down, ask him to do fewer things, and ask him to do them better. That's what I would do. But
I don't know. I don't know where to tell if Darnell Wright is out. I don't know where to tell him to run the ball. I don't know.
Oh man,
I don't
we've
know.
had a bunch of
Kevin
people
Jenkins
reaching out. Can Olin come back and play?
No. I couldn't even play my last year I played. So why would I play now?
I would think they put you at tight end now at your size.
Hey, listen, I can do what Cole did last game.
Yeah, 0 targets. Here's our Hooters winging it segment. Caleb Williams, 22 of 41, 217 yards, no touchdowns, and no picks. Hooters originality isn't just one thing, it's everything. World famous wings and more, served up by the iconic Hooters. Girl Hooters, always original. We'll be there November 19th, my birthday. We will be at Hooters in Orland Park. So come on out and see the show.
Good day to celebrate your 65th birthday.
Yeah.
No, not there, buddy. I'm not 65. Good try, though.
You look good for 70.
You look good, man, Cap. Unbelievable, man.
Keep grinding, buddy. So Caleb Williams' numbers, he didn't turn the ball over again. But like I put the all 22 on, and I'm looking at him throw a throw to Keenan Allen. He's got DJ Moore standing at like the 2-yard line, wide open. Get him the freaking football.
Cap, listen, I try to tell it how I see it. I'm not always right, and I most times probably don't know what the hell I'm looking at. When I saw him play, I saw the raw film of him against the Jags. I thought it was as good as I've seen a Bears quarterback play in decades. I factor in the interception as well. I thought he was on time. Ball was where it's, but I got to be honest. Like and he's not the only reason why the offense didn't function well. I didn't think he played well on Sunday. I thought he held it. I thought he was indecisive. I thought he was inaccurate. I thought he had a bad afternoon.
I thought when I watched the film,
and then Kevin Byard's going to join us after Olin.
Awesome. I thought when I watched the film, I thought that they had a huge advantage on a secondary, Tom. I was interested to hear what you thought about this. Yeah. I thought they went into the game thinking if they spread them out, that they could just throw it to Keenan Allen and DJ Moore, no matter who their matchup on him, and make those plays. I think it was the first quarter. They're on the 11-yard line. They threw the ball 3 times in a row and kicked the field goal. Yeah. And that's what I thought to myself. They came to this game thinking as long as they got a 1-1 matchup, they were going to win those. And I thought that, like you're saying, there was a drop by O'Dunes there early. Right after that, he threw the ball over Keenan Allen's head. And then the rain came down out of nowhere. And I thought to myself, man, like, you got to pivot at some point and say, look, the tempo, the empty, the spread them out, it's not working. Let's try to, like you said, let's try to bring everything in and simplify all of this.
All right. We'll take a quick break. And then Kevin Byard, captain of the Chicago Bears, 2-time first-team All-Pro, and a really good dude. He joins the guys and me next.
Hey, Dad, we're running low.
We'll be all right.
What is going on here?
Insulation? I'm chilly.
I can't help you with a
decoration, but I can help you replace these windows fast.
Right now, buy one window and you'll get one free. Plus, no interest until 2025. And we'll get it done Feldco fast.
Buy one window, get one free, and soon. Hurry. Call now.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Apt. For the best appliances for football season, shop at Apt. Pleasing people since 1936. Find them at apt.com. Four Seasons, heating, plumbing, air conditioning, and electric. For all the right reasons, Four Seasons. Join the Illinois Tollway at Contracting with Government, a roadmap for business opportunities. Drive your business forward with the Illinois Tollway. All right, our special teams play the game brought to you by Special Olympics Illinois. It's Cairo Santos, 3 for 3 on field goals with a long of 53 yards. He may not have the leg for 60 like some guys, but he is as steady as they come. Illinois Tollway, you don't have to be a big construction firm to do business with the Illinois Tollway. If you're the owner of a small, diverse, or veteran business and are looking for an opportunity to grow, now is your chance. Head on out to their event Friday, November 8th, 10 to 2, the South Shore Cultural Center in Chicago. Kevin Byard, Bears captain, all-pro, joins us now. KB, we've been having this discussion. Tommy, Waddle, Olin, you, me. We'd love to know what is going on in the room. Do you feel like we're in a crisis situation or this can get steadied quickly?
No, I definitely don't think we're in crisis. I think that, obviously in the city of Chicago, really in the NFL in general, you lose two games, come off a bye week, we were 4-2 in the fashion that we lost. Obviously going back to Washington, we really didn't play well in that game. We almost stole one and then we lost it in that fashion. And then obviously getting our butts whooped in Arizona. Everything feels like, it's crashing down, the sky is falling. But internally, and knowing myself, been playing a lot of ball, these things can be fixed, these things can be corrected, and we just got to win some ball games. Once you start winning again, things kind of calm down a little bit. So we're definitely not in crisis mode, but we're definitely in that mode where we need to start stringing some wins together, and we don't really have any more room for error.
Kevin, I would ask you, do you think that the team suffered from some sort of hangover effect that existed after the loss in Washington?
Not at all. I mean, obviously, we had to answer a lot of questions about that. There's a lot of comments made in the media, including myself, that, we had to answer for. But I don't think it was any hangover. Honestly, when you cut the film on, we just didn't play well. They ran the ball on us pretty good. Obviously, offense couldn't really get anything going. Special teams didn't play well. So I don't know if that's any carryover. I think that the focus in the building was really on ball. I think we had 3 really great practices. Obviously, Cap, you was on the podcast with me and Big Dog, and we kind of talked about that. And we just came out there, it was flat. We didn't start well. And I think that's just been an ongoing theme for us on the road, not being able to find that formula to win ball game. Olin, you played a lot of ball. To go on the road, you got to pack a defense. You got to start fast. You got to score points to win against these teams that are more than likely going to be in the playoffs. And we haven't been able to do that. So I think that's the reason why we lost the game. And I don't think it had anything to do with the previous week.
Kevin, when I played, a lot of times we would say next man up, but sometimes when a guy would show up out, that would really affect us, especially in the locker room. And then with Montez out, and then not only Montez, but you got Brisker out, you got Kyler Gordon out. Those 3 guys, missing those 3 guys, and I don't know when you guys got the news on Montez Sweat and stopping the run and other guys being up. How much is that affecting you guys trying to get those younger guys like Dominique Robinson, other guys to get their run fits and make sure we stop the run?
Yeah, those are 3 big pieces to our defense. I think Montez did a pregame workout. I didn't even know he wasn't going to play until, we kind of all showed up to the stadium. He was there earlier than us. They just workout in, and he kind of told us that he was down that day. Obviously, I want him to play. He's a big part of what we do, not only just in the run game, but in the pass rush, obviously, and the impact that he makes. So that obviously definitely makes an impact on the game. But just like you said, we always believe in the next man up mentality, because obviously Montez didn't even really practice that much this past week. So guys are in meetings, guys are getting the same coaching tips and things like that. I just think that, you got to give credit to Arizona. The way we played our run defense, they did some pretty good things to kind of negate some of our aggressiveness with a lot of pull schemes and kind of getting guys out of position, guys maybe not being guys were, on the front side of defense kind of scraping over the top and maybe guys on the backside not getting over as fast enough and kind of creating some of those holes and some of those seams that they were able to get on us. So, but like you said, man, Tez, but speaking on Brisker and speaking on Collar, those are two, big important pieces in the pass game or just in our secondary. Obviously Brisker's aggressiveness and his ability to be an enforcer for us and Collar growing his versatility. Hopefully we can get those guys back as soon as possible.
So, Kevin, I got to ask you, DJ Moore was on the score. He's asked about, has Coach Eberflus lost the room? And then you have Cole coming out saying, a week of the Washington game, I don't think some guys took it and gave their all in practice. And then Jalen Johnson wasn't happy with some things. So I know you said there's not a crisis going on, but do you feel like Coach Eberflus is still like fully in control in there?
I believe so. I think that, like I said, DJ can speak for himself, and I can only speak for myself as well. I don't think he's lost the locker room. I think that, just us as players and just for myself personally, I just focus on the guys. You know what I'm saying? Like I focus on being solution based. And at times when, like you said, when you lose the way we lost, it's very easy to point fingers and to try to figure out, who's to blame. But I don't point fingers at anybody. I try to point them at myself. You know what I mean? Like I try to point my finger at myself and say, what could I have done better? What could I have done better on that long touchdown run? I gotta try to turn the guy back inside if possible. Try to get him back to the troops. I need to make more plays. That's just my mentality. So, and I just try to preach that to everybody else. Like, obviously, coach can call the plays. He can say as many speeches as he wants. He can hold team meetings and try to rally the troops. But at the end of the day, this is a players' league. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, us as players, captains, leaders, we got to play well. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what team you're talking about in NFL. The best players got to play well for us to win games. And and within these past couple games, we haven't been able to put that together. So players are the ink that write these coaches' resumes. So just for myself and everybody else, we got to make sure we're playing to the level that we can play at. And let's not worry about, if people think that he's losing the locker room or think about all this other stuff. Let's focus about us. Let's focus on us. Let's focus on tomorrow in practice, going out here leading by practicing hard and making sure that, if you want other guys to play better, we got to practice better. We got to play better. We got to meet better. And that's what I'm always focused on, just myself and always looking at myself in the mirror saying, hey, what can I do better to try to, get this thing turned around?
Yeah, Kevin, obviously there's angst in this city. It's a fantastic football town. Is the vibe still good inside the locker room with you guys? I mean, separate the coaches from it. All 53 of you guys, is the vibe good?
I know. I mean, and we just lost 2 games. You know what I mean? Only you've been in the locker room, man. Like when you're losing and when you lose, kind of everybody, everybody's kind of uptight a little bit when you lose a game. You know what I'm saying? When you win, the week is good. Things are kind of relaxing. When you lose, we're all trying to figure out, we're kind of, looking for answers and things like that. So, no, I don't think the vibes are great right now. We just lost 2 straight. But I don't think there's any, loss of confidence in the guys that we have. I think we still know the talent that we have in this team. We know we have the guys that can still win ball games. So there's a belief there. But the vibes is focused on, just getting better, trying to win. There's, talk of potential and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, we got to put it together. And that's the only thing I'm focused on, just trying to make sure that I'm doing all the things necessary for myself personally to try to get this thing turned around.
And when I heard about, first of all, I played with a bunch of knuckleheads, being a knucklehead myself for a little while when I first came in the league. When I seen what Tyrique Stevenson did, I just thought to myself, man, they'll get him going. That guy's one hell of a football player. They need him on the football field.
Right.
And then I remember one time that a coach told me that I wasn't going to start. I left the room and slammed the door. So I thought to myself, I wasn't too worried about him not walking out of practice on Wednesday. I actually don't want a guy happy after he gets benched anyway. Right. But talk to us a little bit about how that went for you, being the leader of your room, talking to him a little bit, getting him going in the right direction, how that whole week went. Looked like he came in the game, played some good football. I thought Terrell Smith played good ball when he was there. Talk to us about, and the listeners, about leading the room when something like that is going on with a young guy.
Right. Yeah, I think, first of all, I feel like, obviously insiders have their role to play in this sport. I definitely think just the timing of that was very weird to me. It was
Hey man, Jake
very
Legs is one of the 8 wonders of the world, Kevin. But I tell you right now, he amazes me. That guy.
Hey,
Anyway, go ahead.
listen.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Like I said, I know the role that these guys play. I've like I said, I've been in the league for a while, but it was definitely blown out of proportion for sure. Honestly, obviously Wednesday we had a walkthrough. Um, I really wasn't privy of anything. I was in the middle of the walkthrough. Obviously Tariq was in meetings and everything, but I did notice like he wasn't out there for a little bit. As I was in the middle of the walkthrough, and then all of a sudden he was back out on the field. But it wasn't that long. Like I said, we did the walkthrough, we was on O&D, then we kind of went to special teams, and he was back out on the field. So I didn't know anything until a guy kind of told me, like, hey, I guess Tyrique got the news or whatever. And, I figured that that's probably been either went in the locker room or something happened, and he came back out. So then I was talking to him. He was fine. Obviously he was disappointed. But I think he was very accepting of the news. Everybody handles adversity and things like that very differently. And I think he just needed a second to kind of gather himself, uh, hearing that news. And for the rest of the week, he was completely fine. I don't think he was a distraction. He didn't make an issue. Obviously, you've seen him play a lot in the game. He was still rotating in, practicing, and things like that. So I didn't really see an issue. And like I said, I just feel like that timing was very weird to me. And so just for me personally, I just, you know, didn't really change up anything that I was doing as far as I'm always conversing with him in the locker room. We're always talking in meetings and things like that. So, like I said, I just didn't really like the timing of how that article came out right before the game when it found out that he wasn't going to play. It's kind of just, pouring salt on the wound. Really feel like it was kind of unnecessary.
Going back to work now on Wednesday, you get ready for the Patriots, who they may not have the best record, but they did walk into Cincinnati opening week and beat the Bengals and Joe Burrow. So what is the key to beat a team like New England with a rookie quarterback? We just saw James Conner. I mean, he was like a steamroller out there on Sunday. What is the key to beat a team like the New England Patriots for you guys?
Yeah, I think obviously coming back, to Soldier Field, a place that we haven't lost yet this season. I just actually just finished watching like 2 games of them. Obviously, their past game in Tennessee. We got to stop the run. I think that's been the biggest thing for us on defense. We have to stop the run. We haven't been great at that at all this year, especially coming off last week. If I'm watching the film, I'm telling myself as an offensive coordinator and as being in meetings with the Patriots that we can run the ball on this team. So that's something we got to stop first and foremost. Make this team one dimensional. But Drake may can run as well. Just watching the film, the past 2 games he's played, he has no issue with taking off running when the pass game isn't there. So, like you said, they have a really good running back, Ramon Stevenson, who can run the ball. He's a very strong runner. But like you said, you can also add Drake May into that run game as well. And they have some pieces on the outside with Kendrick Bourne and Butte, and obviously Hunter Henry in the middle, who has great hands. I played him a few times as well. So I think if we can make these guys one dimensional, and be really great on third downs, I think we can be really good and we can really be dominant on defense. And just offense, find that spark. Obviously in the games that we have won, DeAndre Swift has had really good games. Use him, get the other guys on the outside involved, Cole Kmet, getting him involved and things like that. So I think this is a really great opportunity for us at home to kind of shake off, all this. I almost want to say BS that we've been dealing with these past, couple weeks. So obviously we can have really good spirits and be on a really high note, obviously, with the big division game coming at home against the Packers.
Hey, Kevin, we greatly appreciate you taking time for us. Great to get your perspective, and love your Intercepted show throughout the season. It's been a lot of fun to watch as you handle this show. It's been great, man.
Oh, absolutely, man. I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you.
You too.
We'll appreciate it, man.
Be good.
All right, you guys have a good one.
You too. Take care. There he is, Kevin Byard of the Chicago Bears. Olin, any thoughts on his perspective? Because I remember it's still burned in my brain sitting at NBC Sports Chicago, and there was some quarterback getting interviewed, and it was, well, the offensive line this and the receiver that. You went, It's when you play really well, you give the credit to everybody else. And when everybody struggles, you take the hits. That guy is exactly what can I do to make us better? I thought he spoke the language that you both seem to preach.
I was, first of all, I thought about back when I played, and I was impressed that he showed up on the podcast. I give him credit for showing up in a hard week. It's a hard week, man, and a lot of times there's a lot of got you questions that I can ask him, and it's just kind of, I have way too much respect for what these guys are doing, Tom, to do it to them. So they're going through a tough time. He's a leader on the team, and he's saying the things he's talking about. We got to get better. We got to stop the run. He's exactly right? And look, they had to stop the run against the Colts to win the game, and they didn't. It's been going on for a while. So even when Montez Sweat was there, now they're better with Montez Sweat against the run, obviously better with Brisker, obviously better with Kyler Gordon. Like you're saying, Cap, first of all, for him to come on the show here with all the things everybody's saying, I'm saying, we're all saying, stand-up guy, he took the questions, he answered them, and you can see the locker room is a little bit, maybe that didn't work what we did a couple of weeks ago. Now let's start talking about what I need to do to get better.
Yeah, I think one of the greatest commodities or greatest qualities you can have, especially as someone like Kevin, who is tremendously accomplished. He's, I believe, a two-time All-Pro safety, and that's not a Pro Bowl. That's an All-Pro recognition. He's been a fabulous player in this league for a very long time. The self-awareness, like Olin said, look, we gave up 213 yards. They ran it on us at 6.3 yards per clip. We got to stop that. And he pointed out his own mistake. If you go back and look at the film, on that final run of the first half, and that tells you what kind of quality guy he is and what kind of leader he is inside that locker room. He just acknowledged to you that, look, he could have done a better job cutting that play off and forcing that running back into the middle of the field so they had a chance to bring him down. So, look, I think you need more players on your team like Kevin Byard. So they're in a tough spot right now. You can tell, like the vibe in the locker room, as he said, is, it's not a melee, but you lose 2 in a row, it doesn't feel good. So, they got work to do. That's for sure.
And you want to hear from him, Mercedes Lewis. I think, is that who he's calling Big Dog?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to hear from him. You want to hear from TJ Edwards. I want to hear from the guys who've won a bunch of games in the NFL. They know what it takes to win. And those are the guys I want to hear from. And I want to hear what they think about their locker room and the direction needs to go in and the things the guys got to do. Jermaine Edmonds is another one, right? He's won a lot of football games. He didn't play a really good football game this past week at all. He didn't get off a block. He didn't make a play. But these are guys who have won football games, right? And like the guys who have won, they know what it takes. And it obviously takes talent and team and coaching and everything. But as far as the details and what he's talking about, what Tom's talking about, taking responsibility. Look, like Tom said, Coach said I called a pass blitz. I don't even know what that is, man. It's like you're in the 3-wide. Here's one disappointment I did have with this team. We're holding everybody accountable. When I watched that play, Taylor's supposed to come inside in the B gap while Blackwell's blitzing off the edge in the C gap. He didn't, right? And I listen, if the coach is going to take responsibility, if you're going to tell the coach when he's wrong, then tell the other guy when they're wrong too, right? Tell them when they're wrong too. I think Taylor's supposed to come underneath in the B gap there. Blackwell's in the C gap. He doesn't. He gets kicked out. They block 2 defenders and 1 puller. That's really what broke that play open. I haven't heard anybody say it yet, but they were ready to talk about the Hail Mary with the coach called, right? So those are things I kind of worry about. But I think they're going to walk it back like Kevin did and just say, look, I got to do better on that play, which is good. As long as he told Blackwell and Taylor in the locker room, your ass better be in the B gap the next time we call that blitz, right? Because let's keep this all in house and let's just tell each other in the locker room, hold each other accountable, and keep the noise in the locker room when things are not going good.
This is not a community, gathering. This is not like a social club meeting. This is the National Football League, man. There are millions of dollars at stake for all of these guys. You can't just, not in the day. There was hundreds of thousands of dollars at stake.
It was still good money.
Tommy, what was your top salary?
They were paying us like you pay us for this podcast, Cap.
Damn right. Thank you all. Wow. I played 6 years in the league. Wish it could have been longer. Physically, I wasn't able to do it. I think I made $1.4 million my whole career. I'll be completely honest with you, which I'm blessed to say because I had no inclination that I was going to make a nickel in the NFL. When I signed as an undrafted free agent in 1989, I got a $4,000 signing bonus. And she was my girlfriend at the time, my wife now of 33 years, we thought we hit the fucking lottery. I'm not going to.
So awesome.
So like my final contract was I signed a 2-year extension at like I'm getting giddy thinking about it. $1.1 million for 2 years. So I made $550 a year for my last 2 years. I couldn't play for shit the final year of my contract, but like,
Work your ass off, man.
Yeah, I did.
Work your ass off, bro.
You know, I got basically it was $1 million for 2 years. I got $100,000 signing bonus, and it never. I worked harder the final 2 years than I did the first 4 years because I wanted to make sure that they didn't regret it, and I wanted to, in my own mind, make sure that I didn't take it for granted. I just wasn't physically capable of doing a whole lot after that. But yeah, I listen. 1.4 for 6 years. I'm proud as hell. You know what? I still have to work. My second daughter got married. I'll work until I'm 105. I got 2 more to get married, but I'm thrilled that I was able to play this sport. I would have played it for free.
By the way, your daughter got married on Saturday. Congratulations.
Yeah. Congrats, Tom, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Super cool.
Yeah. That is
super cool. Olin, give me your keys to beating. It's a shitty New England team. You should handle them in Chicago. Let's just be fair here.
Yeah. I think we could all use a win. Right? We all feel like we're part of this Bears team when they win, they lose, and especially when they lose like they lost to Arizona. The key, Kevin just told you on defense, is stop the run. Stop the run. And I think he alluded to a little bit of the gaps and gap responsibilities, especially when you got a quarterback like Kyler Murray who can run the ball, and now you got to worry about him keeping it. Drake May, he said, can run, but not like Kyler Murray can run. So it should be a little easier to fill your gap and not have to worry so much about the quarterback keeping the ball. And then on offense, man, you just got to find some kind of rhythm. They got to find some kind of identity, get guys involved. I don't know who's in the lineup at offensive line, Cap. I know this Patriots team is not great, but there was a point in that game against the Cardinals. I thought they started losing on both sides of the ball on the line of scrimmage, and that's when you lose football games. And I'm a little worried about going to this game with their health, with who's up and who's not, with Billings, with Montez Sweat, with Darnell Wright. If you told me those 3 guys are out, I would tell you the Bears could lose to anybody, right? So I'm just a little worried about that. Yeah. So the line of scrimmage, Cap, as you know, with my binoculars, my eyes are always on the line of scrimmage. I'll be watching there to make sure that they're not getting blown. The defensive line was moving off the ball, man, during that game against Cardinals. And then the Bears' offensive line started going backwards at one point, and it wasn't good for the Bears.
By the way, Tommy, we just had a viewer just say he hopes that you didn't have Eberflus coordinate the wedding on Saturday.
Ah.
Now, Eberflus can coordinate, man.
As long as he wasn't the head coach of the wedding, we're fine. He can coordinate it. You know what I mean?
Poor Eberflus, man. He wants to get back. He wants to get back to the haircut chair in August, man. He wants back to the fact where he's cutting his hair and they're redoing. The wife is redoing his outfit, man. I mean, they got to win a game. They got to win a game.
That's what's so great about this sport, Olin, is that look. I've been as critical as anybody about what I've seen the last 2 weeks. Go out and change the narrative, man. Go out there and decisively beat the Patriots. And then more than anything, guys, at home, rectify the sins of several years and beat that Packers team. If you come off a Patriots win and then beat the Packers, like at that point, you're 6-4 and everyone in this town is kneeling at your altar because at that point, you will have done something you haven't done in years. So, like, look, is it likely? Maybe I'm talking myself into it, but like you have full control over your destiny at this point. Next man up, get in there, do your job, and find a way to win.
Hey, our apt player of the game, ABT.com. Use the code Kaplan25. You spend $150 or more, you're going to get another $25 off their already low prices. That's Kaplan25 at apt.com. It's James Conner, 18 carries, 107 yards, 3 catches for 12 more yards as Arizona ran 34 times for 213, averaging 6.3 yards per carry. So James Conner is our ABT.com player of the game. He was a beast, Olin. He was just I didn't understand when they got in the red zone a couple times. They have Kyler Murray throwing the ball. I'm like, Jesus Christ, just run the football.
The OC got bored, right? The OC got bored. I was laughing. The OC kept us in the game, man, because we had no chance of stopping their run game. And like we talked about earlier, they're starting right guard and right tackle are out, right? So I thought we had a little advantage. And obviously, Montez Sweat goes out, Billings goes out. But even before that, not Montez, but Billings, they weren't stopping the run. Javon Dexter, not a very good game. Pickens, not a very good game. Williams, linebacker, just not a good game all around. And sometimes when that happens to a defense, I used to always think, Tom, I don't know about you, but I would always think when a defense got manhandled like that, I was worried about playing them the next week. Because I knew their pads were going to be low, their pads were going to be set in, and they had something to prove. Because if someone runs a ball like that on you, Cap, they're not just beating you, they're beating you up, right? And nobody in the NFL likes to get embarrassed. And the Bears, flatly, a good defense got embarrassed last week. They got really embarrassed, and they got manhandled, and really waiting to see them to respond this week against the Patriots.
I'm with you, Olin. I think there's a greater chance based on, their performance over the course of a long stretch of time. I think there's a much better chance this defense bounces back and has some bite to them than the offense. And I think the offense will play better as well. But I'm pretty confident that defense is feeling a little bit stung by what happened, and that they'll come out and they'll be focused, even if they're shorthanded, next man up. But I think you'll see a much better effort from them this week.
All right, it's our look ahead brought to you by the Illinois Tollway. You don't have to be a big construction firm to do business with the Illinois Tollway. If you're owner of a small, diverse, or veteran business and you're looking for an opportunity to grow, now is your chance. Join the Illinois Tollway at Contracting with Government. It is a roadmap for business opportunities, and that event, again, is Friday, November 8th, 10 to 2 at the South Shore Cultural Center in Chicago. We got Olin's keys. Tommy and I have to make our picks. The OG keeps his secret until Sunday. Tommy, I am going to go first. Bears win the football game. I'm going to call it 27-10.
Okay. Listen, I follow trends in certain ways. I told you and Alex last week that I didn't believe the Bears would win in Arizona because the trend told you that when they step up, even in a small way in class, and they go on the road, they don't play well. What the trend tells you here is that they dominate lesser teams and they play much better at home. This is a lesser Patriots team. They are at home. I see this as a 24-13 or 24-17 win. I think this is something that, they win this game by at least a touchdown. But don't take them lightly. This team is not good enough to take anybody lightly.
Yeah, 27-10. Okay, so if Braxton is out, Darnell Wright's out, Brisker's out, Billings is out, Montez Sweat is out, what's the score?
Oh, God. Now it's 20-17.
Bears.
All
right, man. All right, I'm in. I'm gonna have myself a drink if they do that. I need a win.
All those guys
I need a win.
Out. Holy shit!
It's possible. It's possible.
Ooh, anything's possible. You're right, Olin. With this team as banged up as they are, like Big Bill, not having him, that would be a loss.
That I know the Patriots center would be happy that morning, right? It's like you imagine a right tackle when someone came to the locker room and was like, "Hey, man, Montez is out." His smile. Can you imagine how big Beacham smiled when he. Hey, listen, I remember one time we playing the Vikings, and they were like, "Oh, and Pat Williams is out." I was like, "Thank God, thank goodness, man. I don't want to face that." I would act tough all week. I can't wait to face him, man. I'd kill this guy. Pat is out. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember this, Olin, but bigger players is not the norm just today. Back in the day. Take that.
Love it. I love it, man. Hey, listen, the Bears went through a lot last week, man. They really did. And you can see Kevin, Tom asked him a great question. What's the vibe? It's not very good, right? They got to get to work. They got to win.
Hey, who does Illinois play this week?
Illinois is off this week because they played week 0. So they got Michigan State. They're licking their wounds after losing to Minnesota. Josh and James, they both got to get better. They got to work on their game, help their team win.
There you go. Tommy, have a great week. Olin, have a great week. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your night. I appreciate you greatly. I know you're highly compensated for the show, but I absolutely appreciate it.
I just love the banter. That's all I'm here for.
I'm wondering why Alex told me that Cap said he was way better than I was at this show. I don't know what's going on there, man. So that's all right. That's right. I can take it, man. I like Kevin did. I got to get better. I got to get better.
You got to get better. Look in the mirror. What can I do better?
Oh, not the Nagy mirror.
You guys have a great night. It's Feldco Football Recap Live, brought to you by our great people at Chicago's Home Renewal Experts. We'll see you next week. Take that.
Hey,
Dad, we're running low.
We'll be all right.
What is going on here?
Insulation? I'm chilly.
I can't help you with the decoration, but I can help you replace these windows fast.
Right now, buy one window and you'll get one free. Plus, no interest until 2025. And we'll get it done Feldco fast.
Buy one window, get one free, and soon. Hurry. Call now.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Feldco Football Recap Live is brought to you by Feldco. For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866-4FELDCO, Chicago's home renewal experts. Your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers, the official truck partner of the Chicago Bears. Hooters. At Hooters, originality isn't just one thing, it's everything. World-famous wings and more, served up by the iconic Hooters girl. Hooters, always original. Dr. Pepper, an American original just like our Chicago Bears. Grab an ice-cold, refreshing Dr. Pepper today at a McDonald's near you. Special Olympics Illinois. Special Olympics Illinois, so I did. Learn more at SOILL.org. Apt. For the best appliances for football season, shop at Apt. Pleasing people since 1936. Find them at apt.com. 4 Seasons, heating, plumbing, air conditioning, and electric. For all the right reasons, 4 Seasons. Join the Illinois Tollway at Contracting with Government, a roadmap for business opportunities. Drive your business forward with the Illinois Tollway.
Some days, you've got big things to care about. Like that. And that. Luckily, the Whirlpool Smart Range automatically updates itself with features like Air Fry. So you can worry less about keeping up with the latest tech and care more about keeping up with the latest trends. Say cheese. Everyday care, Whirlpool.
To see the full line of Whirlpool appliances, shop at Apt. Pleasing people since 1936.